y'all, it's Betsy, and today we have a fun video. We're going to be testing out the new mini love story collection by Natasha Denona. Now, I purchased this upon release, which is actually considered a pre-order. I ordered it from her website. I was able to purchase all 3 items for $80. They had a PR gift set that was $95, but the only difference is it has a box with a lady's face, and I was like, I don't need that. So I ordered the set that had all 3 of the items in it. So, which you do save money by doing it that way. So the mini blush palette looks like this, and it retails for $42. And this is the Love Cheek Duo. So there's a cream blush and a beautiful, beautiful highlight. Then you have the mini love story palette. So, and then the shade names are You Are My True Love. Isn't that the cutest name? And there's also a nude lipstick in the shade Amorosa. So it's just a beautiful nude, which retails for $25. So if you buy the bundle, you do save $12. And if you did buy the one with the PR box, you'd only be paying $3 extra that way from retail price. And then we're gonna compare it to last year's Valentine's release, which this is the Love Palette, which looks like this. This retails for $65. This is one of Natasha Denona's 15-pan midi palettes. And then we're going to do the Love Glow Cheek Palette, which retails for $55. And there's some cream shades and some powder shades, and to see what comparisons there are, if any. So I figured we'd do that because, you know, sometimes when you get new stuff, you want to know before you order it if it's worth it compared to what was last year. So we're going to start off by swatching the cheek palettes first. So we've got the Glow Cream base from last year, which looks like this. Trying to make sure it picks up, because we don't have the autofocus on anymore. Then we have the Super Glow powder. Look how shiny that is and reflective. Then we have the Diamond powder, which to me is a very unique formula. Isn't that gorgeous? And last but not least, you have the Glow Impact powder. So they don't have any cutesy names. So the Glow Impact powder is the only one that is like a true kind of gold shade. And I have actually used this palette quite a bit because I do like these types of tones. You can see like on the highlighter right here, a lot of the imprints gone. So I was actually proud of that. So here is the Love Cheek Duo, and the shades are Cream Blush, it's a pink coral, and then Glow Impact powder. So it doesn't say the names of it. So we'll go ahead and swatch the cream blush. So yeah, that is definitely more corally. Oh, I like that blush. So see, that doesn't have as much shine to it as the one from last year, and I just cleaned off my finger. And we're gonna swatch the highlighter, which if this is the same kind of formula as the I Need a New Glow, oh, that's really pretty. Okay, so it's the same kind of formula as the highlighter from the first palette, and it still has that gold reflect, but if you look, it is more of a duochrome pink to that gold. So I really like, I feel like for the most part, if you bought this, you wouldn't, there's no dupes between the 2 cheek palettes. Because, you know, again, companies are out for our coin. Let's face it. So we want to make sure we're making the best decisions. So we're going to start by swatching the eyeshadows, and I want to pull up the names on how they go because each shade is named, but it's not right here on the part. So okay, so that's how it goes. So the first one is You, which is a mauve rose gold. That is gorgeous. Then we have R, which is an antique lilac. My, which is a deep eggplant, which is an aubergine. And then we have True, which is an icy pastel pink. So we've got You, R, My, True. Let's wipe those swatches away. And last but not least is Love, which is a medium warm pink, which looks like this. Okay. So that is what all the shades look like. So now we're gonna see what we have that is similar in the Love palette. So let's see, for You, I would say that Lifeline would be the closest to it, but I think that's gonna be a little bit more gold. So yeah, you see how that definitely pulls more gold. Now that Lifeline shade does have more of a pinky base to it too. Okie dokie. Now the next color is R, which is that antique lilac. So I would think that the Trust shade right here, which I think is definitely going to be deeper, is going to be your closest match to it. So that's what that looks like. So yeah, it's deeper. The Trust shade is almost in between the eggplant color, which is My, and then we're gonna swatch Commitment, which is the deepest purple, because that is the deepest color in this palette right here, next to My. Okay, so those are similar. Those are pretty darn close. So that would be so far the only dupe. And then the Warm Rosy Pink would probably be closest to the shade right here, which is Passion. And we'll also swatch Pure Love, so we can kind of see them. But I think both of those are going to be too dark. So yeah, both of those are too dark, and the sparkles and stuff in it are different. So out of 5 shades, there is one dupe. Do you need it? Probably not. I mean, unless you own, like if you own the Love palette, you'll definitely be able to dupe the vibes of the Mini Love with the Love palette. Am I happy I have it so far? Yeah, because I love Natasha's formula and I like to play with new eyeshadows. So we're gonna start off just like normal. We're gonna put our eye tapes on. We're gonna play with the 5 colors that are in there. And then we will go and do the rest of our face and come back and test the cheeks. So I'm gonna grab a BK Beauty 201 brush, which looks like this. It's just a small fluffy brush. And we're gonna go into R, which is that, what did they say? Antique lilac. So to me, that is like a dusty purple that it packs some pigment, y'all. So just so you know, this does already feel like the traditional Natasha formula, which makes me happy because, you know, when you spend $25 on a mini palette, like I just did, I want to make sure it makes me happy. And to me, one thing about buying mini palettes is you do kind of get to dip your toes into the Natasha brand without being like crazy about it, you know what I'm saying? So you can test it without buying one of the super expensive palettes. But I love Natasha's formula. I mean, I'll be completely and utterly frank about it. I have used it for years. I've had the Star palette since release, so I've had it for a long time. So you can see how easily that shadow blends out. And it's not like you need a whole lot of colors with this look. So you can get varying shades of depth with that lilac. And to me it looks even, and I put on the Fair Primer by Gerard Cosmetics, and I feel like even with that, like I feel like there's a lot of color payoff. And the shade does look a little darker on the eye than it does in the pan, but again, that's fine by me. So let's go ahead and find one of my smaller brushes. I'm gonna grab, this is the BK Beauty 202, which as you can see, it's still a fluffy brush, but it has more of that pointed tip. Because typically with a brush like this, we're gonna go into that deep aubergine and really kind of place it into the socket and kind of just buff it around. Because I wanna keep the deepness to the outer corner. You see how beautifully that's took and blended? I mean, there's not a whole lot of effort going into this. But that's part of the reason why I love Natasha. I mean, let's face it, is that you don't have to have a whole lot of effort put into it. So I really, really like that. So I think I want to use the first shade, which is the Mauve Rose Gold, the U shade right here on my lid. And I'm just going to use my finger today to apply that because I forgot to grab my glitter glue. That's a pretty color. And it applies really pretty with a finger. Let's see if I have a brush. Let's see if I can use like a dense brush to place it, and then I can add some more over the top, because I like the precision of a brush typically better than just using my finger. Okay, that's working. That is a beautiful, beautiful color. See, this is my kind of color story too. Like, this is what I would consider like a neutral look that has some color to it. So this is the type of color that I feel like you can dip your toes into without it getting too crazy. You know what I mean? Because sometimes color can be intimidating, but this is a pink purple look. But it's nothing crazy. At least it isn't to me. So I'm gonna go back in with the 202 just to make sure everything is nice and intensified. So we like how that looks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go off camera, put the rest of my face makeup on, and then we'll do the lower lash line and test out the cheek products. So I'm back and I have the rest of my face on. I used my Natasha Denona tan for my bronzer. So let's go ahead and apply some blush. So we're gonna try this corally pink cream color. See how it does and if it disturbs the foundation underneath. That's a pretty pinky coral. I like that. And I didn't set my face today. I used the NARS, the new Stay Matte or whatever it's called, foundation. And see, I gotta figure out the white balance, because when I'm putting on blush, it doesn't look like I am putting on anything. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. But look, that's pretty. That's such a natural looking flush. I like it. Okay, let's go ahead and finish off our eyes. So I'm gonna take, this is the BK Beauty 207, and we're gonna go into that warm shade Love, that warm pink. And we're gonna apply that under the lash line. Now, one thing I did do, and I didn't tell you, I used the Beetlejuice Utterly Alone from Melt purple liner in my waterline, and I also used it on my top to kind of make a little bit of a faux wing. So I think it looks pretty good. See, and that's one thing, again, that I like with certain, like this is a shimmer. And it is blending out beautifully under the eyes. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna grab the 204 and we're gonna go into True, which is the lightest shade in the little mini palette for our inner corner highlight. Oh, look how blinding that is. That's pretty. Okay. And a little bit under our brow bone. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I love how that looks. I am actually really, really loving how this whole look is coming together. Like, it's such a pretty and easy look. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like just with this on, it is like super simple, but gorgeous. Okay, let's spray our face and then let's grab the highlighter. I haven't done that yet. Have to do the highlighter and the lips. Okay, so we're gonna dip into that. We're using the Kaleidos H1 brush. I really like this highlighter brush. And I think I'm gonna try, yeah, there we go. Ooh. Look at, oh yeah. See the difference? No highlight. Glowing for the gods. And I love. Now let's watch how that goes. Oh yeah. Now I will say this, that if you have texture with this type of powder from Natasha, it will emphasize your texture. But I think it's, look at that. Beautiful. I love the color of this powder. It's such a pretty color. And I feel like it's something unique to my collection. Now I'm gonna apply and probably end up applying way too much highlight because I'm like, I just wanna keep layering it up. Just a little bit. But that is gorgeous. Okay, let's see if you can see. Oh yeah. See how pretty that is? Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. We love that. Okay, last but not least is the lipstick, which is in Amorosa. So it's just a pretty nude. Yeah, just in your lips but better nude. Okay. So let's talk about my thoughts on the collection. These lipsticks are super comfortable. They're nice. I like the color. It's not too pale. So I feel like this is a good product. If you're looking for a nude lipstick, 25 bucks. These are not as expensive as the Pat McGrath and they are nice and creamy. But it's not a matte formula. It does not last all day, but it is gorgeous. The little mini Love, if you don't have the big Love palette, I would say that this is something that you could use to achieve the same kind of look that you would get out of the big Love palette. I am happy that I have it in my collection, and for $25, you know, I'm really enjoying it. I really like this look. Look, see how pretty that is? Just soft and kind of sexy, and you know, this is the perfect, again, Valentine's look. Now, to me, the standout of the day is the little Love Cheek Duo. The cream blush went on like a dream, and now it is kind of like melted into my skin, and it just looks like my skin, but better. But the highlight, oh, yes. That is my favorite part. Like, look, I just want, see how beautiful that is? I am extremely happy to have that. And especially for $42, like to me, that's not bad. I will leave it linked in the description to Natasha Denona's website. I do not earn a commission off of that, but you know, if you want to shop it, you're more than welcome to. But I guess that's it. So we shall see y'all later. Bye.